Alright guys, so we just released our first couple of Studio Series figures. What's our ideas for some new ones?
I'm glad you asked. So we decided that we're actually going to continue doing characters from the Bumblebee movie.
Perfect, so what are your ideas?
Well, you see, we figured we could go ahead and get some of the characters like Shatter and Dropkick out of the way. That way we can expand the line later on down the line to the characters that people do know, like Wheeljack, Bumblebee, and Optimus Prime.
Perfect, man. People love Shatter. But she was a triple changer in the movie. How are we going to do that as a figure? Like, there's no way we could fit a triple changer at the deluxe scale and still have it look good in all three modes.
You see, we thought about that, and we decided that instead of sacrificing the engineering of the figure in order to make it a triple changer at the deluxe scale, we decided that we're just going to split the figure into two, one with one vehicle mode and the other with another vehicle mode.
Okay, that makes sense. Splitting a triple changer into two separate figures so that each figure is good in both vehicle and robot mode. That's pretty good. So, like, when can we expect to get this figure into production?
We've already got copies of the figure going to stores.
Wait a minute. What do you mean it's already been produced? We haven't even finished the CGI model for the character yet. We don't even know what she's going to look like. Did you seriously design a figure off of a character that doesn't even exist yet?
Yes, sir, and unfortunately, we did have to make some budget cuts to this figure.
You made budget cuts? We don't even have any like high-end figures coming out in this wave. Why would we need to make budget cuts? We could divide the budget evenly over this line. What what did you do?
You know, the sad thing is, I don't even think that skit was that far off from the actual event.
So for a bit of background, the Studio Series line began in 2018, and with its first release of Bumblebee, the line has continued strong ever since, being one of the longest running toy lines that Hasbro has ever done for the Transformers series. It's had its ups and downs. Recently, it's been a lot of ups, but with the earlier figures, there were some issues.
And nowhere are these issues more prevalent than in the early Bumblebee movie figures. Now, you see, Hasbro, in all their wisdom, decided it was the best idea that instead of waiting for the Bumblebee movie to actually come out and then basing their figures on the on-screen models, that they were going to go ahead and make figures based on concept art. Now, usually this wouldn't be too big of an issue. Most CGI models in the Transformers movies are close to the concept art. However, in Bumblebee's case, it's a little more nuance. You see, Bumblebee was originally slated to be a prequel to the '07 movie. However, due to the failure of The Last Night at the box office, it was changed at the last minute to become a reboot slash prequels. We've never actually decided what it was. As far as we know, it is an actual reboot of the franchise, but this has left the designers with a bit of an outdated design. You see, Volkswagen Bumblebee here has the large door wings of the Michael Bay Bumblebee, which in concept art he does have it. There's a picture of it right there. The issue is that other figures didn't get so lucky with their concept art.
Behold, ladies and gentlemen, what is generally considered the worst Studio Series figure ever. And you know what? I tend to agree. I truly do not believe that any figure can get quite as bad as this one does. There are some that come close. Studio Series Barricade does come close to feeling as bad as this figure does. However, I truly believe they cannot get worse than this. All that being said, the vehicle mode does actually look really good. The vehicle mode you can almost always guarantee is going to look good on these figures.
That is, of course, unless your name is Age of Extinction Galvatron, in which case you're just flaunting your feet around the world for free.
Now, despite the vehicle mode looking as good as it does, there are still some issues that come with it, like paint chipping. Lots and lots of paint chipping. There's paint chipping all over this figure, and that is because one of the budget cuts that was made was that the paint was supposed to be really cheap, despite most of this figure right here being painted. And that's not even the only issue. Look at all the clear plastic that was used on this thing. I mean, this entire section from here to here is all clear plastic. I don't understand why people keep using clear plastic. It doesn't look good.
And no, I will not be accepting. It makes the vehicle more accurate to the real life car, and it makes it look less cheap than if they just use opaque plastic. No, okay? Opaque plastic might not look as high end, but at least I don't have to worry about it snapping every time I go to transform it. Clear plastic only looks good if it's severely tinted to the point you might as well just use opaque plastic to begin with. Last time I checked, I can't go out to my truck and see robot legs, hands, and heads in the car itself. Seriously, why are y'all using this stupid argument? But before I get on too far of a rant, let's get down to the transformation so we can see just how bad Hasbro can get sometimes.
All right, so let's get down to transformation and we can see where this figure really decides to fall apart. And I do mean that quite literally. All right, so where can we start? So we're gonna pull the arms out like so, okay? And then we're going to push on this part here. Oh. All right, let's just, you're gonna rotate this part all the way around and then put the arm back on. All right, I'm gonna do the same thing over here. This arm likes to stay on at least. And then you're gonna take them on this double hinge here. Come on, just, screw it. I'm just gonna, come on now. Okay, just work with me. Come on, you're a transformer. This is supposed to be your thing. Just tab back into that. You know what? Screw it. We'll put it back on later. Now we're gonna take the front end of the car here and just split it like so. Do the same thing over on the, oh, come on. Can we please, while the camera's on, can we just, oh. And you're starting to see why this is considered the worst Studio Series figure. I have not even gotten to step 4 yet, and this figure is already in pieces.
You know, the saddest part about this is Shatter's one of the best villains in the entire Transformers series, if not the best. I mean, this is a movie that actually gave character to the title characters of the film, the Transformers. I mean, go back to the '07 movie. What was Jazz's character outside of the black stereotype? What was Ratchet's character outside of saying 2 lines of dialogue and then never speaking for the rest of the movie? What was Ironhide's character outside of big guns make boom? What? Seriously, can we? Why? Why? The Decepticons in Bumblebee were actually deceptive. Shatter was an actual character. Dropkick was an actual character, and a pretty funny one at that. Okay, Bumblebee had so much more character in this movie than he did in the entirety of the 5 movies prior to this one. All right. So why is it that one of the best villains in the entire series gets such a shit figure?
We get to Robot Oh, yeah, sorry, just give me a second here. Just, let's see, just put these back on here, and just that there, and come on, and there. Then let's see, this one clips there, and this one clips there, and okay, there we go. There we go. Now she's in her complete robot mode. And as you can see, issue number 1, that head. Now, I believe you can actually see this head in the movie if you do like a perfectly timed freeze frame on the scene where Optimus Prime is getting like swarmed by all the Decepticons. But this isn't how she looks through 99% of the movie. If you want an example of what she looks like, look at Jet Shatter. That one looks perfectly fine. But anyways, let's get to some of the actual things that I, like about this figure. Number one, the weapons. They actually look pretty good, and you can transform the figure with these still on. They don't really tab into the vehicle mode, but they can still stay on there. And another thing, the legs actually look pretty good. Like, all things considered, the legs look fine. And then, yeah, we get to this part of the figure. Now, remember all that clear plastic I mentioned earlier? Well, you see, it makes up the entirety of her backpack. Luckily, her feet are big enough to where she can actually stand, but good lord, look at the size of that thing. And like, there's not much you can really do to clean it up anymore. This is as far up as it's supposed to go, really. I mean, like, you can fib with the head a little bit, but then her chin's inside of her chest. So, yeah. And it wouldn't even be as bad if it was just painted or opaque plastic that had been painted, because then I wouldn't have to worry about this thing breaking every 2 seconds.
Hasbro makes my brain hurt.
Alright, so while we're in this mode, let's go ahead and do the articulation. Let's see if we can do it without breaking anything. So, ball joints at the shoulder. You can do a full 360, but if you try, the arms are going to snap off. This arm, you can actually do a full 360. That one, no, not happening. And then you got a hinged at the elbow, totally normal, nothing at the wrist. Again, fairly normal for the early Studio Series line. Head on a ball joint, you get a pretty good range of motion out of it, actually. And then we get to the stay out of the way. Oh, God. Stay there. Then we get to the legs. Now, you do get okay forward motion, non-existent backwards motion. Side to side, you can go in, but out, not happening. And it's all because of the way they designed this panel here. This is the side of the car. Now, they tell you in the instructions to put it behind the leg, which does help clean up this, which does help to reveal some more molded detail on the side of her thigh here. However, it prevents any and all motion going in and out, along with the way they molded this ball joint socket. It is way too deep. If they had shallowed it out a little bit, you could actually get some good forward or good side to side motion, but as is right now, it is way too deep. Now, if you fold this out to the side, you do unlock a little bit more movement to the back, but then you have more kibble bumping into stuff. Yeah, and as you can see, the arms are practically useless. I mean, no matter what you do, they're falling down. Or if they're not falling down, they're just popping right off with the slightest pull. Yeah, and this wouldn't be an issue if it was just my specific copy. But the issue is, this was so widespread, you cannot find a single copy of this figure that does not have an arm that pops off like this, or part of the vehicle that pops off like this. I've even seen some where the legs pop off. Luckily, the legs on mine are still tight. But yeah, the fact that a figure in this came out in 2019, the fact that a figure in 2019 came out and the arms are this loose to where the slightest bump knocks them back down and the slightest pull takes them off completely is ridiculous.
And believe me, everything I've said in this video still doesn't cover all the issues with this figure. But that would add another 10 minutes to this video, and YouTube doesn't like 20+ minute videos apparently. So, with all that being said, I'm Wolfatron 3000. I'm gonna go throw this thing into a bonfire. Make sure you leave a like, make sure you subscribe. Remember, 100 subscribers by the end of December, and I will be doing a full collection tour. And you know what? Why not leave a comment down below while you're at it?
Guys, I need your help. Okay, so the algorithm is the number one enemy of all YouTube channels. Any YouTube channel that's trying to start up or isn't pre-established is going to fail because of the algorithm. So what I need you to do, I need you to do two things. One, I need you to hit like. Two, I need you to subscribe. If you don't do either of those things, this channel is not going to be able to stay afloat for very long. So please, like, subscribe, and if you really like me, you might leave a comment while you're at it. Thank you very much.
They really should have called it shit.